Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo!
Here's your question. Are y'all actually going to play Faith of the Heart when the Enterprise month is here?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That could be interesting.
But, you know,
But
like...
you know what I want? Eco the whale, or Eco the dolphin, the player.
What?
I want to change my green triangle to a different color.
You know what I want? All the red pips to go away.
Or a different shape.
I want the red pips to go away.
Okay.
Like, I know you're all about efficiency and everything, but y'all are just triggering the OCD out of people, and it's not nice.
I've followed up about the pips, and I've told you some stuff about the pips.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and we actually talked about them a little bit on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's some pips y'all agree are good. Some pips y'all agree are probably a little overboard. Right?
So let me just continue to have those conversations again. You know, I'm trying to do this more, like you said. I don't have any news on whether pips are going to be coming or leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But the team is very aware there's a lot of feedback about them, and I'm actively having talks about if some pips are needed. Okay?
Okay. Wildcast is not asking for a league, just an opinion. Will the Defiant be a Gemidar grinder / Solar Armada specific or be used for any part of the game? The only thing with that Wildcat would be assuming that means the Defiant is coming, which would in fact be a hint / leak. So, I mean, like, if I could design the Defiant, all I can say is I would want it to not be a one-dimensional ship. I would want it to be very Vidar-esque, where, sure, maybe you could use it as a great ship versus Solar Armadas, but it was still useful outside of that capacity. That's all I can really say. I'm tired. I hate specialty ships that have only one purpose, Eco. Like, I don't like that. I want them to be able to use. Well, yeah, it's just an Uber, or
I love
even the Franklin.
Disco is such a quality of life enhancer.
Okay, so it does something nice, but it would be nice if we're investing in these specialty ships and they did more. And that's what you like. The North Star did more. You know, the Vidar did more. The Stella, if you max it out and do the research, is actually a capable PvP ship in the late 20s, early 30s. But you're not getting that with a lot of the new stuff. The Mantis is not that. The Cerritos is not that.
I mean, the Mantis Sting.
Yeah, but that's a one-trick pony feature. But that's not giving you a multi-role ship. Like the Vidar,
yeah, but if the Mantis was a multi-role ship, wouldn't it be like borderline busted?
What's the thing? I'm not saying make it a great multi-role ship, but it should have some level of playability, like the Vidar.
I actually asked about that, and it's supposed to be roughly in between like G3 rares and epics. Like if you take a fully like tiered out Mantis and hit it within the triangle on a PvP crew, I wonder how it would do.
Well, we ran the weapons map. When it came out, I put that in the video. It's not that strong, and then it also has all of its level.
Where did it cap out? Where did it cap out?
Its weapons are basically the exact same as the Burrell, the level 32 rare.
Okay.
So it's going to lose to almost every ship in that range because it's going to be tier limited. So your Mantis is going to be stuck at like tier 2, whereas your Enterprise is not.
I understand.
So even like on paper, sure, it matches up well, but you can't have a tier 12 Mantis, at that tier. So that's why it doesn't ever really scale appropriately. And then it starts needing G4, stuff like that. So it's like the Franklin A. I love how the Franklin A was a great quality of life improvement in terms of grinding swarms, but you still can't really do crap with the Franklin A besides grind swarms with it.
Yeah, not really.
So like, I love new ships coming in the game. I would just
Swarmadas.
Yeah, well, Swarmadas that nobody runs unless we have to for an event because
I'm just saying, you said only swarms.
But that's the same thing. A Swarmada is a swarm. I mean, you get what I'm saying, though.
I know.
The ability to use it.
I'm literally just being a jerk.
Well, that's your job. You're a community jerk. But
thank you. That's my new title.
Community
jerk.
Yes, we've got Community Jerk and Community Beck with us here today, and
Beck fixes everything. Eco breaks everything.
it's a good little good cop, bad cop.
It's a good balance. It's a good balance.
So, I mean, I guess that's all I can really say about the Defiant. I hope it comes. Like, I would love the Defiant to be in the game. But if it does come, and this is something that I had, requested to design about multiple ships. And I remember talking to Old Man about the Enterprise D when it was getting thought of, how just you want it to be relevant in the game because it's iconic. Like, I know Voyager is your favorite thing, but like, imagine Voyager coming into the game and Voyager was absolutely trash. Like, you actually got the ship, but it was garbage, except for it had a slipstream warp drive or something, and it could go from one end of the galaxy to the other. But that's it. Like, it had no other actual use. I don't want that from a premier thing from Star Trek.
I understand what you're saying. Is the Defiant your favorite ship?
No, my favorite Federation style ship is actually a class.
Federation style ship. Sorry,
is actually a class called the Akira class. You can see it in First Contact and some of the Dominion War stuff. The Akira class is my personal favorite. It's also in like every Star Trek game, like Star Trek Armada, Star Trek Online, stuff like that. That's my favorite Federation design.
As somebody that knows more about Star Trek than I do, what is the big difference between an Akira class? How do you spell it? I'm going to Google it.
Akira. So the Akira class was designed to basically be a small warship. Like, it had a weapons module on top just for launching a crap ton of torpedoes. It was just a really cool design, and it was function over form type, and I like that.
Absolutely. I'm going to say something that you're going to be very upset about.
It's just the NX-01 inverted, right? Is that what you're going to say?
No, it looks like an iron.
Looks like an iron.
It's got a handle on the top, and it's got a flat bottom. It's literally an iron.
What about the nacelles?
Send me a link.
Are you looking at the same thing?
This is what I was looking at.
Yeah, just post a picture in our chat. The next design that I would probably say I like the most is the Prometheus from Voyager. Yeah, so like, you're just looking at it from that angle. I mean, keep in mind that
it looks like an iron.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But I love the Prometheus because of the multi-vector assault mode. I love that design. And would love it in the game.
Yeah. Northcutt, I think, looks awesome.
Like,
I love the Northcutt.
Yeah, if you want, by the way, because Omicron's right, if you want the ship that's a Federation ship that looks like an iron, then you need to look up the Steamrunner class. That's an iron. Shinjo likes the Galaxy Dreadnought from All Good Things. Very good ship. Very good ship. If Andy Dick comes into the game, I will quit. Dr. Juby, I call BS. You will not quit if Andy Dick is in the game. I call BS. You won't do it. You won't.
Do you remember that TV show that he was in? The dating show?
I do not know.
What was it called? Oh, it's just called The Assistant?
Never heard of it.
Yeah. The Assistant. Oh, it wasn't a dating show. He was just literally looking for an assistant.
I heard he went to jail for doing something inappropriate. I'm not going to say on.
Well, that's not ideal.
Yeah. But anyway, back to game stuff. If we don't get a Defiant by December, I'm done with Star Trek Fleet Command. Well, I guess we'll just have to see if you're still here in the next 30 to 60 days. Swore 1067.
The cat is late. DJ had a very, very busy work day.
Yeah, cat's very late, actually. Like, we're an hour and 15 in.
Yeah.
How about more ISS skins for ships? That is a great... You were asking for suggestions to make with a great one. More mirror universe type stuff for... in terms of like cosmetics. And thank you, Iron Chef, for the 100 biddies. If we were ever going to ask,
I was thinking like cosmetics because like we're always like in such a wide view, like things that like how often are we zooming in looking at like the refits?
I'll admit, like I will put out my refits just in my station just to look at them.
Really?
Yeah. Like the only reason that I actually use the Enterprise like the old school Constitution refit is just because of how it looks. Like, I mean, that's why I put it on there. I mean, it's I have the Enterprise D skin on the other Enterprise. Like I built a second Enterprise and I have both of them that I can put out there because I like how it looks. Hey Trader, good to see you. We need a skin for our starbase. Agreed. This is something that I have been harping on for a long time. It makes no sense if we don't end up getting a DS9 skin for either our personal starbase or for the Alliance starbase. That would be ridiculous. Like huge missed opportunity. Huge miss. Eco, you're being oddly quiet.
Sorry, I was just looking at some things. Then also a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 ad popped up, and I was looking at that for a second. Blame your stream.
When can we expect an export battle logs on mobile? I talked to GD about that months ago and just basically got the tech for that is extremely difficult answer. I don't know if there's been any update to that.
I actually followed up with today about the battle log issue from the past
well, that's
week or
a different
so,
thing.
not being able to
yes.
clear it. I know it's a different thing, but you know, I'm trying to figure out who I talked to specifically about battle logs. But a lot of the things that are being asked for, generally, if you're wondering why we haven't done it yet, it comes down to tech. Either it's a lot more complicated than it seems, or we just haven't made it yet.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there's also has to come down to an aspect of how many people would actually use it, because like I've had a lot of loud voices in my ear for well over a year asking for Star Trek Fleet Command, or in this case, Scopely, to make a Apple port like on the M1 chipset and now the M2. But the amount of people that would actually help is so small, I get why that's a low priority. At the same time, I think it's fair that they should have that, but they've been asking for, and it's not like they don't know, because GD's mentioned it. Like, yeah, we'll look into that. They've said that. It just, that was a year and a half ago.
Fix it. I'll try and fix the code.
Yeah.
Actually, can it be Beck's code now?
Who games on a Mac? I mean, Galactic, all I can say is that I get a lot of DMs. And believe it or not, some of those DMs are from people who have Macs.
There are quite a few people, especially with how, like, Macs are a lot stronger than they used to be. Believe me, they're not going to be running, like, Overwatch 2 at 144 frames per second. Like, that's not what they're built for. But games have become more optimized. And if you talk about something like Star Trek Fleet Command, like, I don't think it requires a very hefty computer or device to run. From what I understand. I mean, they just made it so Doom can run inside of a notepad. Didn't they make Doom run on like a Tamagotchi as well?
Well, the original Doom is like
the original
2 megabytes. So, I mean, it's not too complicated to do that. I mean, yes, you could easily run STFC hardware-wise on it. By the way, Beck says that she's working on the code. Technically not lying, because Beck now does have access to the Python side of things. So technically,
Beck knows more about code than me.
Technically, she is a coder. By the way, Dr. Zuby, thank you for 10 subs. Appreciate you, man.
So now everyone can say Beck fixer code instead of me, right?
I mean, she has access.
Can we officially pass
I'm talking about the same panel that you have access to, though. So you've had access to it for 8 months now.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I don't know if that's true.
Okay. You just being a jerk. I know, just community jerk. Just let you do it. Now we just need Ripper to get access. We need DJ Echo. That's what we need.
We need who?
DJ Echo. Beck likes coding. Yes.
Beck likes coding.
Beck likes coding.
I thought that Beck was going to do something like Beck likes Trek for her name.
Well, that's what her video series was on YouTube.
Now, since for like, Star Trek Fleet Command purposes, she's just Beck. I'm going to open up every video with "My name is Eco and I like Star Trek Fleet Command," and then she's just going to stare at me very angrily because I stole her catchphrase. I did not pick your name. I just said that for Reddit we do STFC_. If you want to change your Discord name, go for it. The world is your oyster. Beck keeps calling me her boss And
I mean, technically.
I have to tell, I always am like, no, we are a team. And then she's like, okay, boss man. I'm like, no.
I mean, you are a team, and that's great.
We are a team.
And y'all are peers.
We are equals.
But you literally hired her, and she literally works under you.
Listen, I think everyone who has like people on their team with them, the title difference is literally just if something goes wrong, I take the blame for it, right? When it comes to the decision making, it is a universal, just like group decision, in my opinion, at least.
I don't think that's how it works for most people.
You don't think so?
Yeah. No, that's not how hierarchy structures usually go or are seen. But I mean, if that's how you see it, that's cool. I don't have a problem with it. I'm glad both of you are there. Do you mind being called boss man?
I'm still upset about being called Mr. President. Maybe I am just angry about everything. Oh gosh, if I hit that like time in my life where I'm just upset about everything.
Beck has
did I make it? Wait, what'd you say?
Corey just says Beck has way more hair than you do, Eco.
That is true.
That's not.
What if I just showed up with like a wig the next time I come on camera?
What if you just showed up with one of Beck's wigs?
I wonder if
Beck, can Eco borrow one of your wigs, please?
Oh man, I can't wait till I retire. You know, I go out somewhere in the country, have a nice deck, sit in a rocking chair, have a shotgun, just stare out into the wilderness, not say anything for a while.
You are a weird dude, Eco.
Oh, come on. You can't say there's a little piece of you that wants to go out into the woods and just sip lemonade on the deck. No?
There are moments, yes. It's hard to say yes to that. Thank you, Iron Chef, for the 100 biddies. It's hard to say yes from that in Louisiana, depending on the month you're asking. Asking me right now in October, yeah, yes. Ask me in July, no.
Well, I mean, you could go somewhere like that's nice all year round.
Like Southern California?
Southern California, it's plus or minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit all year round.
Here's the problem with
70
that.
degrees plus or minus 10.
I would literally have to get another job to afford to live in Southern California. I would. I have 3 kids. There's no way
dogs.
I could take where I'm at right now, live in Louisiana, which is like the poorest state in the union, and go move to Southern California.
Eco lives in the basement. True. Listen, I actually don't have very many needs. As long as I have a computer and a small room with like internet access, I'm generally pretty happy. I don't require much.
If you're out,
it is actually it's like $6 or $7 a gas right for gas right now. Yeah, that is true.
Since we are an hour and a half in, and I honestly don't know if DJ is going to make it. Chat, now's the time. I'm going to just start directly grabbing questions that I know he can answer. So if you want to start throwing in,
is he coming?
Questions. At this point, I'm just going to have to. He'd be at the very tail end of it if he did, because it's
all right.
It's almost 9:30 for him and 6:30 for you. Yeah, but I stream for 2 hours on Wednesday.
Yeah, but we're having a nice conversation, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I think we're doing great.
Am I boring you?
Yes.
Okay.
For card sourcing, other than TNG Ultra Chest.
Something that I've brought up multiple times and no action items on it right now. I don't know how that is going to be sourced in the future, but I've made it very clear that the most desired officer in Star Trek Fleet Command is Picard.
Schwar says, is there a legit chance for the Defiant coming? There is a legit chance. Yeah, I can definitely say there's a legit chance. I'd go as far as to say, actually, Eco, that by the year 2300, the Defiant will be in Star Trek Fleet Command.
2300?
Yeah.
I think that could be a safe assumption.
Yeah, so just want to point out there, if y'all are expecting the Defiant, I can go ahead and tell you, it's a really good chance at some point it's in this game. Ooh, Scout.
Get it.
I mean, I have to. Thank you, Darth Gallon, for the 100 biddies. Y'all got a hype train going. Didn't even know it. Update transporter pattern officers. 3-year-old officers should be in there. I want to say one thing about that too, is just because we're talking about QOL and everything. When they've added officers to the transporter pattern store, new ones have an increased price, which I don't agree with, but it is what it is, right?
Sure.
The problem is the pattern that was said when this first started is we're going to add new ones so they're slightly more expensive. The old ones that were added previously have not been reduced in price conversely. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So like Harry Mudd, Eurydice Mudd, they're still 1,100 per shard versus regular Pike, who's 1,000 per shard. And that was done like almost 2 years ago when they first started updating TP. And there's still a long list of officers that need to be in there, like Jayla and stuff like that. But
I actually brought up transporter patterns this past week.
5 of 11
looking
is
at
probably
adding
the one
more
that I
people
would
to the
want
transporter
in there.
patterns and how we can adjust things.
I love that
Also,
3's in there, but I want 5. 5 and 6, especially with the Armada focus now.
I understand. So I understand like the comment. This is where I say about like removing older officers. I don't think there's any point in removing them because we're all at different places in our Star Trek Fleet Command journey. What I can ask is once you have that officer, if that can goes away, right? Like once that officer is maxed, it no longer appears. Like, you know how we did for the primes recently, where if you have that prime, the bundle doesn't show up anymore. I'm wondering if we can do more of that. Would you say that's fair, Ruff?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'm not a fan of taking things away.
Maverick, I do have a video about using Picard. Use Jean-Luc Picard the exact same way you use Pike. I actually have a video comparing both of them and showing how the math works between the two. Jazz has one that I've been bugging you about for a long time. Bonus refinery for ship parts when. We have one for the regular refinery. You hopefully will start experiencing this soon.
I've already seen that, yeah.
Greatly needed.
Yeah, I can ask about that actually. Something I also saw was updating the bonus refinery as well.
Yeah. The bonus refinery is still running the old refine rates. So as much as we love the bonus refinery, which we do every month, we are literally getting bigger pulls on some of our regular pulls now than our bonus refinery guaranteed pulls.
Okay.
Because it hasn't updated to the, the 50% increase for G3 and the 100% increase for G4s.
So I'll talk to you a little bit about this offline, Rev, because I have a little bit of information about this that I want to run by you and get your opinion on.
Approval.
Because we did promise a bonus refinery every month back in June, right?
Yes.
And
you have held to that.
Yeah, and I made sure we've held to that. Bonus refinery starts tomorrow, by the way.
Well, bonus refinery already started today, actually.
It started today, and it runs until Monday.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. I was able to get everyone on board with that with the current way the bonus refinery is structured. If we change the structuring of the bonus refinery, then that can potentially affect how often it runs, right?
Basically, they don't want it paying out too much.
It's not so much that. It's more complicated than that, but let's just say for ease of use, sure. If you want to just boil it down to that, it is not that, though. So what I'm asking is, if we decrease the amount of times the bonus refinery happens, but increase what it provides, is that acceptable to people?
So it's difficult for players to get asked that question because the only logical path they can jump to is you will only increase the refinery, which means that they would get more uncommons, rares, epics, if they can pull it less. So I guess what you would really need to explain to players first is why is that a tech problem that you cannot increase the rate and then still run it every month as promised?
Right. I wonder if that's something I can add in my postmortem too, about the actual nitty gritty of that, because I'm not a game designer, right?
Because I can tell you that they
need to-
definitely can do it, but there might be a reason they don't want to do it.
Right. And I don't know what the reason is, and everyone's going to always automatically jump to.
Well, I'm going to give
I
you
saw it a
the
bunch
I'm
of
going to give
times,
you the
dollar
BS
sign
look,
thing, and that's
because I know they track how much uncommon you get, and I know that there's an expectation level because of, well, every game is trying to make money, and I get that. That's fine. I'm not trying to say everything in the game should be free, but if that's the reason, then just come out and say, hey, we're not prepared to do it now, but maybe in the future, right? Just say it like that. Something that we'll look at doing, this time next year. We just give a presidential answer. We just updated doing the refiner thing, and we're looking at a potential doing more in the future.
No, because I understand why people are asking, like, hey, you updated the refinery, why didn't you update the bonus refinery? Like, logically, it makes sense. But when you're designing a 4X strategy game that is so economy-based, it's different.
No,
right?
I get
and
that.
I don't have that information, just straight up. So I need to ask why, but that is something that I always it was just something that I thought about, right? Like, if I find out the reason why and I give those details, and then it's like, okay, well, if we increase it, we can't do it every single month like we promised. And like I said, I've been very hard and very strong about being like, we promised every month, we're giving it every month.
Here, let's use your favorite word, compromise, where nobody's happy, but everybody wins.
Right.
What if
I love compromises.
We increased it to match the current refinery.
Sure.
Ran it every month, but didn't run it for 3 days.
Now, that's an interesting idea.
What if we only ran it for, say, 48 hours or 36 hours instead of 72?
Let me ask.
That's a straight down the middle type of compromise.
Because as you've said multiple times yourself, Rev, like, this game is very, very economy, resource, material based, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask.
What? That's all we can do. See if we can just say, hey, we'll sacrifice a day, knock it down to 48 hours, but increase the amount. And I will say that there is more incentive now, or incentive, wrong word. There is more burden now on the economy because of the new features coming out. Like, you look at, and this was a big issue with a lot of the VIPs that I talked to. It was difficult for them to do a lot of the higher solo stuff because the strategy for a long time has been to skip a lot of ships because it wasn't efficient. Well, now you need 3 ships in a relatively close level span to be pretty decent to punch up. Like, I can't hit a 48 epic right now, but when I get my Katinga, I will be able to. But that means I had to invest in 2 42 uncommons to do that. Make sense?
You link the improved bonus refines which run favors for boosting G4, G5 refines. That could also be interesting.
Maybe link the improvement to the Yeah, Meme's got a good one there too. But I don't want to leave out the G3 people.
It's good to have all these like sourcing and the ideas of things, right? And again, I think everybody knows that game designers are game designers for a reason. They understand the ins and outs of the game better than I do. Like, I know like the surface features, like when things unlock and why, but like when it comes to balancing and creating a world like our game design has for Star Trek Fleet Command, I don't know, right? I need to ask. And then I can pose these different ideas and hear options. And maybe this is something we talk about.
Sounds good to me. If you had ultimate control, what would you make happen in Star Trek Fleet Command?
I would let my ship be a different color. My triangle.
I'd add more personalization. For example, instead of my ship saying Rev Deuce, it was the USS Dread. Obviously, things would have to follow in the sensor range and things like that, but little things like personalization would be really nice.
I don't know what the tech challenge is or whatever.
Oh, that would
it may
be a
right?
massive
Because
tech challenge.
Ships and stations are very different. I think we all know that. Yeah. I think that personalizing stations could be cool because especially when you're like raiding, you do zoom in, especially if there's a bunch of stations clustered together and you're like trying to like micro around just this specific station, where you could actually see like ship or station personalization. I think that could be cool.
I do want to point out the big one that's obvious is we are in desperate need of an inventory cleanup and a way to do something with all these damn BPs.
Yep. Already being talked about.
Yes.
Trust me. Whether there's been multiple ideas, right? Whether it's just let's say for the Halloween, let's just say for the Halloween currency, for example, it doesn't have a does it have a timer on it that once the timer expires, it just goes away and that currency's gone? Do we want to let people hide things? Because some people like want the memories, right? Like it's hard to do it perfectly because everybody has their own perfect solution. But I will say that it is absolutely being talked about.
The biggest issue for the game is this is a big tech problem for y'all because the overload of currencies that are like in the inventory is part of what causes lag.
Sure.
So the more that got streamlined, the less potential issues we would be having. I'm not saying that because I don't have any numbers, man. I can't bullshit that. But so I can't say that you get a 20% improvement if you clean up the inventory.
I don't even have that as numbers.
But what I can say is I do know that the game has to manually reload all those items when you make an action. So it has to go through that process for hundreds of thousands of players every time an action's done. If you clean that up, it would improve. I can't tell you how much it would improve, but it would improve the game. It would improve stability. It would improve lag. Maybe it improves at less than 1%. I have no idea, but I can tell you it would help and it's greatly needed. And it would be a QoL update that people have been asking for a long time.
Cat is just leaving work.
Cat is just, oh man.
You want to drag him in?
I mean, yeah, if he wants to jump in real quick, we still got 22 minutes.
I'll ring him.
Come on in, kitty cat. Poor guy. That was a long work day, man.
DJ works hard.
Dude got off work at 9:30. That is.
What's up, kitty cat?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Everybody knows that the car business is down and interest rates are up and business is crappy. And for whatever reason, today I sold more cars than I've sold in the last 2 weeks combined. So I kind of had to cash in.
I mean, I don't blame you, and I'm happy.
It's a great
for
day.
You. Yeah.
God, it was a good day. It was the best day I've had in months. So I apologize. I'm late. What's up, everybody? What y'all doing?
We just been having
You missed us talking about updating the bonus refinery.
Yeah, we had a good chat about that.
Oh my God, are you doing it?
Where I
suggested a
understand. I need to better understand the concerns about updating the bonus refinery, and I was asking if there was some sort of compromise that we could potentially come to once I understand these concerns. Because DJ, like I have said, and like has always happened, that since what was it, June? I promised a bonus refinery every month, right? And I've given a bonus refinery every month. And that was based off of how the refinery is. And so if changes come to the bonus refinery, is there a compromise? Like, are people okay with an updated, really nice bonus refinery if it runs, once every other month? Or if we shorten the days, like it only runs for like 48 hours instead of 72. That was the conversation we're having. But it all stems on me understanding the economic impact of doing something like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know the economy at the same level as the game designers do.
So and obviously I'm an hour and a half late, just kind of shooting from the hip, but if I'm just quick drawing this thing, let's say that most players are going to get out of a 72-hour bonus refinery rev. What do you think's fair? 6 pulls? I know you could do 8 if you really work the clock, but I'll only get 6 because I'm not waking up in the middle of the night. So let's say 6 pulls and G3, that's going to probably what it's currently pulling, because it's on the older rates. What it's currently probably pulling is, what do you think, an extra 400 to 500 G3 if you do the max refines? So I'm not 1,000% sure that is horrible, and it's probably less than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because
I would say
it's on such
an
older table.
But that's also my suggestion was still run it every month, but instead of 3 days, just make it a 2-day. Take away 2 of those pulls.
I got to be honest with you. I would prefer that, to be able to still get it, and I'll tell you why. Because if you were going to do the maximum pulls, which I always
Yeah.
recommend in a bonus refinery, because you don't have the commons, right? So if you're going to do the max pulls, that's actually crazy enough. That's still decently expensive in raw. So if you did it every month, but did it for a day shorter, that does give players a little bit of an opportunity to kind of recover that raw. So I think that I would be in favor of that, because I'll tell you, for example, on this bonus refinery, I will not be able to do max pulls of all the materials 6 times because I don't have enough raw.
Yeah, same. In my 4-star, I don't have enough raw. I'm still at that awkward stage where I've been doing, because I'm still scrapping, Mayflowers and Legionaries. So I still got to go mine that stuff and use those refineries. And it's tough to get both of them really surplused up for a bonus refinery every month.
Yeah, and honestly,
everybody.
If I'm thinking like that 500 number, that 4 to 500, that's probably a little bit more representative of the G4 refinery.
Yeah, it is.
I would say
the G3 refinery.
That's probably what I was thinking.
You're closer to 100, 200 because it's such a smaller normal payout.
Yeah, because that's right, because the numbers are a little bit smaller. The G4 is naturally elevated, I think, like 2.5 times. So yeah, that's probably about right. I was probably thinking 4 to 500, but that's probably my G4 refinery. So, and again, G4 just natively costs like 3 to 4 times anything that of G3. So obviously I do understand that there might be an economic concern, but I kind of feel like that's probably peanuts in the grand scheme of a month.
Again, I'm not trying to agree or disagree with that statement. I'm just saying I need to understand, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's responsible.
And so I'm trying, especially from Wednesday. I'm just being like, hey, listen, I don't got the information, but
look,
here's
man,
what
we keep
could
bringing up Wednesday. DJ, come on, be honest. Wednesday between me and you is definitely not the worst a community manager has taken it, man. That maybe I'm just don't feel like it was that harsh, but like, do you think we were that harsh, DJ?
I messaged Mr. President afterwards, and I offered to DoorDash him a bag of frozen peas for his busted lip and his black eye.
Man. I'm not saying we didn't go after him, but I wouldn't say
a lot of people did message me and say that it sounded pretty rough. Now, when I went back and listened back to it, I believe that you felt some of the frustrations, but I do think that at all stages, at every stage, it was very much made obvious that it was not directed at you. Like,
I never take it personally.
Well, I know that, but and so that's why I feel okay about that conversation, because I think it's important, and I mentioned this to you afterwards. It's important for you as the face of the company, right? Like, it's not fair to you if we attack you personally, which is also why I said on that stream, even when addressing back, like, please be sure to remind people, you don't impact code. You can't fix bugs. You don't write events. You relay the feedback. And that is, that's important for people to differentiate, because there was a lot of noise in the chat about, well, fix the bugs, Beck, fix the bugs. Well, Beck doesn't fix bugs. Neither does Echo. So it's important that's why I am so harping on communication, because I do think that it would be really, really good for us to get a better, more transparent, more communicative, more frequent status update on some of these bugs. But I also understand that you don't directly impact that. You can only ask somebody to do it. But at the same time, like, you are the conduit for that feedback, and it's important for you to feel the frustration. It's important for you to feel the anger. And when I made the comment, and I think a lot of people might have really, like, the gut check moment, Rev, was when I said this game is as bad as it's ever been. Like, the quality of this game is as bad as it's ever been. And I think that's where people were like, oh, dang, he said it.
Well, I think when it comes to the sentiment,
because we're feeling it. Yeah.
No, that's true.
I felt more, I wasn't upset that you guys brought this stuff to me. I'll never be upset about that. I felt more bad that I didn't have more answers, because the stuff that you were asking is just not part of, like, my day-to-day, right? Like,
of course,
when you're asking about, like, what processes are you guys going to do to make sure that a 6-hour downtime doesn't happen again? I can get that information, right? I know who to speak to get that information, but that's not like how I generally prioritize my work day.
Yeah,
right?
Of course,
There's
absolutely.
There's a lot of things going on. So like, because I remember I DM'd you afterwards. I'm like, hey, if you like gave me a heads up, I could have had a lot more info for you.
Yeah,
it was very spur of the moment as it was happening too.
And for the record, that was even brought up in the chat, and I said I could find the screenshot. It really was. It was a little bit unfair, not in what we said, but in how.
It would have been better in this scenario to have had all that for like, say, hey, our monthly that we're about to do eco, we're about to hit you with these. Be ready for it.
Exactly.
And you already saw the questions that I put in front of you guys. I was like, hey, did I miss anything? Because I'm about to go get answers for these things.
Yep.
Which this is good for me and DJ's community to let them know, hey, you're going to get a monthly.
I am here for you guys to yell at me and vent. I don't care. Does not bother me. If I always say this, like, I would be more concerned if you didn't, right?
Well, if we can get some answers with the venting, that's kind of what we're getting at too. But like, this means that me and DJ can go to our community and say, hey guys, y'all have got a guaranteed stream once a month that's going to go out. DJ's going to have it on the podcast. Rev's going to have it on YouTube. We're going to go direct into question and answers, state of the game type stuff. And that way, you're not taken as far surprised. Because I will admit it, and we talked about this before you got on, DJ. It did kind of turn into almost like a Talking in Cars episode with part of that podcast, which I know was not what was intended. But it did kind of get that way towards the end.
For sure. And I even said this in chat later on and in a podcast, I guess, or the stream that we did the other night. Like, it was like I could fully acknowledge that we did catch you unprepared, and that is because we did not. And like I mentioned to you, Echo, it really kind of evolved into that because of the conversation we started with communication, right? And that is very much about what we wanted to talk about with Beck and being on and communication being better. Mm-hmm. But then, it did kind of move along in a direction that I probably didn't intend. Yeah. As far as the path of that conversation. But I also I'm mixed on it, Rev, because I don't regret Echo feeling the frustration that we have been feeling. And so I think it's important for him to be able to feel that, because as players, this is a very frustrating time to play this game. But at the same time, you're absolutely right. If I had spent 30 minutes, an hour or two ahead of time and said, hey, this may come up, what do you got? Then I know that you would have been able to go and get answers. And for that, I apologize for my misstep. I don't apologize.
I do not call it a misstep.
I don't apologize for busting your lip, though.
I don't think I would never ever call that a misstep, DJ. I just more felt like an idiot. Right? Because I didn't have answers and I had to just keep saying, let me go get that information. And, that's my fault for not understanding more just at a baseline level. But there's a lot of moving pieces around me. And depending on the day and the week, and especially with Beck coming on board, this is not a bad thing at all. But I was very focused on getting Beck up to speed as fast as possible these past couple of weeks.
Sure. And let me be clear to the community, especially because Rev and I have much more access than anybody in the community ever could dream of. And we do see a lot of the way these things interact and the way the departments have to get involved. I got to be honest with you, Echo, it would probably be detrimental to the community and to your role if you did just chase everybody else in every other department down every single day, because that is other things that you can't be working on. So I fully acknowledge that. And for I can't see the chat, but I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, well, don't apologize. But I got to be honest with you. Echo probably should not have been able to spout off those answers without any type of preparation, because it's not his job to
I see
babysit every single department.
I just felt it was more of a venting session for a lot of players. And that's Like I had talked to Beck about it, talked to Eco about it afterwards, and it's more of just.
Rev texted me.
Yeah, I mean, I did. And I think it's important, though, for the CM to feel the sentiment of the players leading into another month.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so big of a deal, if this was in the middle of Strange New Worlds, we wouldn't be fussing as much, but this is literally supposed to be the saving grace of Star Trek Fleet Command. Like, better for worse is what a lot of players have been looking forward to and seeing Deep Space Nine as, and it's not lived up to that potential. Now, part of that is the players put it on a really high pedestal because it's DS9, but also the game has fallen short so far. So it's a mix there. Like, I do think it's important for the CMs, even if they don't have answers, to feel what the players are currently feeling. But it's also good that if we have episodes like tonight, where we can actually come with some of those and actually talk, relax, answer some of the questions, and actually be a little bit more direct, a little bit more prepared. Sometimes both of those are good to have.
And I think for a long time, you know, both you and DJ have been saying, Eco, you need some help. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, Eco, you need some help. And I think that we started to really see that I can't do this alone. And luckily, you know, I have great team members over on all the different departments, and I have you guys to help. But yeah, I needed help, right? Like, there's a lot to do in Star Trek Fleet Command on all of the different things that I want to do, even on top of that. And I think that we've seen just even in the past 2 days, the amount of announcements that Beck has posted in Discord. And that's because we both are tackling different things now. Like, I can share this because this is something I'm excited about. Legal for the content creator program, done, being reviewed.
Sweet.
Finish that. And
So
there's a bunch of other things.
When can I soft launch that?
Again, I need to make sure that the changes that I made to a legal document are okay, first and foremost.
Oh, well, when you said, I'm sorry, no, when you said legal done, I thought you meant you've already done all that, not you did your part.
The legal is done. That doesn't mean, oh my gosh, Rev, you know that there's like 14 checks and balances when it comes to anything legal way.
No,
also, if you're talking,
okay.
I can't hear you.
When I heard that, I heard the legal team has already completed their
side. The document is done. Like, I got my hands on the legal document. I made my adjustments based on the program, and now they need to verify that the things I did are good because, again, I am not a lawyer, Rev.
What are you, Eco?
I'm a community jerk.
Correct. I'm glad you got it right. I'm glad you got it right.
But I'm just saying, like, the way that we've been able to divide and conquer recently has just been such an awesome feeling. And, like, you know, it's so cool to see Beck just come in here and just hit the ground running and want to do all of these things, right? And I'm really excited for what's, like, you know, future weeks.
And for those curious, like, why y'all should be excited about the content creator program and the future of it, Scopely didn't design it. That's why you should be excited. Me and DJ did all the legwork. So that's why you should really look forward to what the content creation program
we all had a 3-person meeting. I gave you my ideas, and you liked my ideas, and then you expanded upon them based on what you feel would be beneficial for Star Trek Fleet Command content creators, okay?
Having the document in front of me,
and
I can clearly
a ton
say
of work for this program.
Eco didn't type a single word.
I'm not taking anything away from it.
So Eco didn't type a word of said program.
Hey, can I ask a question completely off this particular topic? Because I know that Rev is very excited about the changes that are coming within the CC program, and they are very cool. I'm very excited about them as well. So I'm super pumped to see some progress being made on that. I did have an opportunity to chat with Beck with the community last night. Beck actually stopped by my Twitch stream for about 10 minutes last night, which was super awesome.
Nice.
And I really appreciated that. We did ask her a question, and I'll be honest with you, I have been so out of pocket today. And Echo, you know, you've sent messages and Rev sent messages, and I've just been very, very quiet today. But one question that I had was pertaining to her announcement, and she did tell me that she was going to try to look into it, but I don't even know if she's messaged me today to follow up. The announcement indicated that players would be able to earn up to 25% or 25 blueprints of the Mantis in the incursion run.
Yeah.
My question is actually very detailed. It's kind of minutia, but I think that it could lead to potential frustration if there's not clarity. Does that mean that there will be enough loot sourced to earn 25 blueprints, or does that mean that the bundle is a limit 25?
I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think there is enough loot. I believe, and I need to verify because DJ was asking some other questions about this. I believe that through the events, you will get enough currency to get 25 blueprints. Now, if we're talking about limits, because I know what you're thinking is if somebody saves it or if they get the bye week chest and get some currency and they have enough to get more than 25, are they still going to be hard locked if they have a bye week? Mm-hmm. That's a very good concern, something I need to be verify about, because if somebody just sits on their event store currency until they can buy 50 blueprints at once, I don't see why that would be an issue. You know what I mean?
That would not be an issue. But on the other hand, on the flip side of that same coin is, for example, we've got the Borg event running right now. So this is a great example. There's a limit 15 on the Vidar skin, but through events, you actually only earn enough to get 6 or 7 or maybe 8 of those shards. Now you can buy extra loot, and there's a limit. And that was the basis of my question. Will players through events actually get enough for 25 blueprints, or are we talking players are going to be able to earn 10, but the bundle is limit 25, so you can buy extra if you wanted?
No,
that was the basis of my question. Is there going to be enough loot to actually get 25 blueprints?
I believe there is enough loot, but I need to.
Yeah, we had tried to ask that earlier. He said he wasn't sure. But DJ, if you remind me this weekend, we could ask the person.
But
he forgets.
But I was just told there is no limits on the blueprints.
Oh.
Someone DM'd me. They're listening to our conversation.
Well,
so
that
means
fantastic.
It has to be a currency limit then.
Well, yeah, that means if they're saying if there's no limit on the bundle and they're still saying that players 25. Can earn 25, then that means that there must be that amount of loot.
That implies you're going to earn 25.
Which, by the way, is excellent news. That's why I asked the question, because I didn't want players to be, excited about being able to get 25 and then only being able to get 10 and they could buy extra.
Yeah.
This is actually really, really good, Rev, because if you look at this sourcing path, you're talking 4 months if you didn't have any blueprints at all. But if you did do a $20 battle pass that month, you've got 50, which means you're talking 2 months on a free-to-play path. And even though that path was delayed a little bit, I mean, really, we're here end of October, so you got this incursion, you've got the end of November incursion, which means not only was the free-to-play path launched, of course, before December 31st, but that means legitimately
you'll get it
could
before the end
actually
of the year.
have before. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I like that.
That's assuming also the December incursion runs the first week or first weekend of December, but yeah.
Also, you missed this, DJ, but I gave a little bit of information about the next arc already, just because it's not it's something so I'm stealing a little bit of your thunder.
I don't even necessarily know if you're stealing our thunder. It's just Did
you read a poetic hint?
No, it wasn't a poetic hint.
One of the rare officers has a guaranteed meta. That's it. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's a rare officer has a guaranteed meta. So it's just returning back to what it used to always be like.
One of the rare officers will be you can get a full unlock of through. SMS. I've been told. I'm 99% sure. I need to 100% verify, but I was told, and if nothing's changed, that you'll be able to, through the free battle pass and the events, you will get a full unlock of a rare officer.
Well, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
But that's also
the
standard of what it normally is.
You could look at this half glass empty or half glass full. Half glass empty is it never should have been deviated from.
Yeah.
Half glass full is it's back, and I'm happy for that, and it should always be, and it should stay. So I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I got nothing else to say. I'm glad to hear that. That's great news. That's good.
By the way, hey Wardod, good to see you, buddy. Sadly, you can't see DJ's screen right now, so
doesn't matter. He already cracked my base like 6 minutes ago. So.
I love Wardod so much. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
he
great.
he got me. I threw a shield, buddy. I threw a shield. Don't wait around.
Literally driving home. Just there's War Dog. There's War Dog.
Man has a 12, 13-hour work day, gets his base cracked.
Oh,
Thank you for
that's
39 biddies of War Dog.
that's only like the third time that's happened today, so it's all good. It's fine.
Yeah.
I spend about $1 billion trade a day just in repairs from War Dog. Just throwing that out there.
You have another question? Because Rev's got 2 minutes before his stream ends, and you came in late. So anything else that you wanted to cover really quickly that we're both here?
Can you repeat the first 90 minutes of the show?
I mean, I am going to edit it down.
Do you think The Patriot is a top 5 movie?
Oh yeah, there you go. That got talked about somehow.
A top 5 of all time?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Top 50?
Yeah. It could be a top 50. It's definitely not a top 5.
Like top 100.
I mean, it could be in a top 50. It could be. It's definitely not a top 5.
Well, I mean, Eco did admit he doesn't like America, so he did.
Oh, you hate America.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna fade into the abyss. I remember the first few months, people were so happy I was here.
Yeah, but now we got back. So
every month since that point, people have just gotten more and more upset that I exist. So like, I'm just gonna let Beck take over, and I'm just gonna slowly fade into the background, just do admin paperwork stuff. From
you know why
You
we
mean
hate you?
like
You made
like
a
every other
$20
CM
avatar.
ever.
Yeah, you made an avatar lock behind a $20 paywall. How dare you? How dare you?
That's my fault too. That's my fault too.
Fix your code, please. God.
I mean,
Fix
Beck
it.
codes apparently in Python.
Yeah.
Fix your code.
That's
Hey,
what
by
he's
the
gonna
way,
be supervising. Yeah, that's what I am.
I have a question. Since it hasn't been talked about that I'm aware of, Rev, my tracking indicates that you received a package from the Litterbox community a couple of days ago.
I did, in fact.
Uh-huh.
Get I don't have it at my desk, but I got lollipops. Sadly, the apparently the UPS guy was not having a good day. So
No.
mostly I got chunks of lollipops.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But the ones that were on a stick, that one is still whole. The big, like, traditional lollipop is completely shattered, and the kids thought that was great candy. So,
Oh,
but yeah, I
everybody,
opened it and I was like, "What is this?" But the FedEx guy was, okay, I'll do FedEx. Maybe it was USPS because it almost like somebody drop kicked. Like, it's just, it was bad.
That's hilarious. Well, I tried, community. I tried to hashtag have a lollipop Rev. I legit tried to send him lollipops to his home.
You did.
Totally.
And it's appreciated.
Mhm.
It was a good little thing. If I
It's
had
a gag.
known,
It's a
like,
gag.
if you would have told me it was a gag or something, I would have like had my reaction recorded. But I didn't know what you were sending. You just asked for my address. I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Well, I didn't want to spoil the surprise.
Yeah, but next time we'll just have to like ask for more bubble wrap or something. I don't know.
Oh,
But,
that's terrible. I'm getting a refund.
It's all good. Look, guys,
All
we
right.
appreciate y'all being here, but we're going to wrap. It's been 2 hours. I've got to condense this down to about an hour, and then we'll give DJ the audio for the podcast. It'll be up on YouTube, and Dr. Juby says stop giving out your address to strangers. I know what DJ looks like, so does he count as a stranger?
I also know what
I
DJ
mean-
looks like.
I know what Becco looks like too.
Oh my God! Please.
Yes.
That
Love
is just
Echo.
nightmare fuel. All right, I know you have to leave. Just let me say my 2 cents, my thing, real quick. Through good months, through bad months, I have no regrets at all being part of this community. I appreciate everyone always being honest and open with me, especially you, Rev, and you, DJ. You know, regardless of the content of a meeting or a video or what's going on. I am glad that you guys feel comfortable enough to actually reach out and talk to me. I'm not always going to be perfect. And yes, I know my presidential answers annoy the living crap out of a lot of people. But I appreciate all the support and for everyone, regardless of everything that's happened, still being okay with me being part of their community. So, yeah.
All right, time to go raid Beck. the community manager of Star Trek Fleet Command, who is not playing Star Trek Fleet Command.
Why is everyone making this Twitter comment? I've seen a bunch of people talk about going to Twitter.
I'm on Twitter.
No, they're saying like he's leaving to go work at Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Well, you did kind of start that off as almost like a benediction. Like it was just this ending farewell thing. It sounded like that.
Oh, no, I'm not going anywhere.
So, Elon's buying STFC? I wish.
Oh, Twitter fired a lot of people.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen at Scopely. Anyway, guys, we appreciate y'all being here. Y'all go say hey to Beck, and I've got a lot of editing to do.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.